Hello, I'm Katie Cruitt. I am the program manager for the DRPH program, and today I'd like to introduce you to the My Portfolio feature of Course Plus. The DRPH program is going to start using this My Portfolio feature to collect DRPH documentation from students instead of the Dropbox feature. So now when you're ready to submit forms for, say, your concentration oral exam or your comprehensive written exam request form, you will do so through MyPortfolio and not the Dropbox system. So let me go ahead and share my screen and I will show you how this MyPortfolio system works. Okay, so when you log into your Course Plus account, you're going to go over here to the left side and click on My Portfolio. Then you're going to select School-Wide DRPH program, and this will bring up the touch points or tasks for the DRPH program. Now, what you see might be a little bit different than what I'm showing you here. This is a test account, so it does look slightly different, but not different enough to confuse you. So as you'll see, these are all the touch points or tasks, and they are similar to what you'll see in the Dropbox for the different assignments and tasks that you need to submit documents for in that Dropbox. So let's go ahead and review one. Let's look at the concentration oral exam. So when you're ready to sit for the concentration orals or submit the forms, you're going to click on that touch point and read the instructions. And you'll see that the forms can now be found on the DRPH intranet site. And here is a direct link to that site so you can access the required forms. Once you've completed the forms and have the necessary signatures, you're going to head and submit all of the information to item number 3, related files. And then you'll just add the documents. Now, this does not have to be a zip drive or a zip file. You can just add the documents individually to this touch point through this section. Once everything has been uploaded, you're going to want to send your work for review by selecting Mark Ready for Review. When you click on Mark Ready for Review, your program advisor is notified that you have submitted these documents and they're waiting for them to be reviewed. The program advisors will then review them, and if everything is in order, they will mark your submission as complete and note that you have been moved on to the next stage of scheduling your concentration oral exam. If there are any questions or concerns about the documents that you've submitted, it will be marked as incomplete, and the program advisor will send a comment back to you about what the issue or question might be with regard to your submission. So now if we go back to the MyPortfolio landing page, over here on the right, you'll see some color-coded statuses. And this is an easy way for you to check and see the status of the touch point or the task. So here, this student submitted information about the prerequisite courses, but you'll notice it is waiting for review. That means the program advisor has not yet reviewed their submission. Likewise, down here under the school-wide preliminary oral exam, this test student submitted documentation, the program advisor reviewed it, and has marked it as complete. So everything in this particular touch point was in order, and they were then moved on to the next phase of scheduling their preliminary oral exam. And the red waiting for student just means that you have not submitted anything for this touch point yet. So hopefully this will be an easy way for you to track your submissions. So let's go ahead and take a look at another one. Let's look at the practicum experience. So when you are getting ready to submit any of the forms, whether it's the proposal form or completion form, you'll click on that touch point and read the instructions. Again, all of the forms are located on the DRPH intranet site, and there's a direct link to the site where you can access the forms. Once the forms are completed and all signatures are gathered, you can submit the information to item number 3, the related files section. Again, just add them individually. They do not need to be a zip folder. Once everything has been uploaded, you'll want to send your work for review by clicking on Mark Ready for Review. Your program advisor will be notified again that you've submitted information for this touch point and that they need to review it. Now for this particular touch point though, because there are two parts to it, if after you submit the practicum proposal form, your program advisor will review it and they will comment back that everything is fine, but it will not be marked complete yet. It will only be marked complete after the practicum completion form has been submitted as well. So just be aware of that. That is one difference about this particular touch point. So there's one other touch point I want to go over, and that is this competency self-rating touch point. Now, this is something new that we think students will like. This is an opportunity for you to self-rate yourself on the different competencies that are part of the DrPH program. And that includes school-wide competencies that all students must meet, the foundational competencies, as well as your concentration competencies. When you first go to this touch point, you will need to select the competencies that you want to rate yourself on, and I will show you how to do that. So down here at item number 4, you'll select competencies achieved. And so right now, you'll notice there are no competencies currently selected. Again, this is the first time when you go into this, you will need to select the different competencies. So you can select from the school-wide competencies, the ones you would like to rate yourself on, then the different foundational competencies for data analysis, if you want to keep track and rate yourself on data analysis, and all of the other foundational competencies. But then you'll also notice that we have all of the concentrations listed. So let's say you're in the global health policy and evaluation competency. You would then select all of these competencies as ones that you want to track. So then once you have selected the competencies, you can self-rate yourself. And it's pretty easy. The ratings are basic, intermediate, advanced, and expert. And again, this is a self-rating. So you will just be thinking about where you feel your level is, whether you have a basic understanding or maybe through your coursework and your thesis and other experiences, you have moved to an advanced or expert level. Keep in mind, this is an optional touch point. This is something that will not be reviewed by anyone. So if you did go down and selected review your work and mark as complete, no one will be looking at it. This is something that we have set up just for students to kind of keep track of their competency levels throughout the program. So now let's look at some of these tabs that are at the top of the MyPortfolio system. Since we're just talking about the competencies, I want to show you the competency dashboard. Now this shows you the competencies that you have selected to rate, and it shows the rating. So if you had gone through and rate, well, actually, let's go back and do that so you can see. So, all right, going to self-rate ourselves on the competencies that we selected just a moment ago. So I'm going to say I'm basic in all of these. Global health, basic. I'll just to show you for conversation's sake, I will rate everything to basic. Again, I'm doing that just to record the information, but no one is going to be reviewing it. So now when I go back to the competency dashboard, you're going to see these are the ratings that I have selected for myself for the different areas. And you can just kind of close the accordions for the concentrations and the competency areas that you're not rating yourself on. So you can go back and revisit that competency self-rating touch point and change the ratings depending on how you are progressing through the program. Now, there's one other feature here that applies directly to students in the custom concentration. So as part of the custom concentration, students identify their own individualized competencies that they wish to complete. And this is where students can add their own competency. So here you can title it whatever you want. So just for conversation purposes, I'm going to say custom concentration number 1 and save it. So, and then down you would look down under student defined competencies, and you would then be able to rate yourself. And that will also show up if you go back to the list of touch points, to the competency self-rating, select competencies achieved, and you go down to student defined competencies, you'll want to add that, and then you'll be able to rate yourself on the custom concentration competencies. So again, just wanted to show you this new this new touch point that we think students will find helpful. So another tab at the top that I want to show you is the evidence library. And this is just where all of the documents that you submit are held. So you will submit them through the individual touch points, but then you can also take a look at all of the documents that you've submitted here. So the other tabs are not really used by the DrPH program at this time, but I do want to point out that there are so many other ways you can use the MyPortfolio system. And in the program library, there is a tutorial by Brian Klaus, who you may remember from the Introduction to Online Learning. He is with the Center for Teaching and Learning, who has developed this MyPortfolio feature. And he can show you ways that you can use it on a more professional level. So if you're interested in pursuing additional ways to use MyPortfolio in addition to the DrPH touch points, please feel free to watch this video. So that's the new MyPortfolio system. Please feel free to start using it now if you like. It is set up and students should have access to all of the portfolio, all of the touch points. The Dropbox system in Course Plus will close down at the end of term 4 of this academic year, 2023-24. So moving forward, after term 4, you will only be able to use MyPortfolio. But between now and the end of term 4, if you are not quite sure and want to continue to submit things to the old Dropbox, that's fine. But you won't be able to do so after term 4. So if you have any questions, please let me know, contact your program advisors. This is a new system and we have tested it, but I can't guarantee that there won't still be a few bugs to sort out. So please just let us know if something doesn't look right or you're getting any errors. I think that will be at a minimum, but just let us know. But overall, we think you will be very pleased with this new system. So thank you for watching today and let us know what you think. Take care.